服国中央人民政府今天成立了。
但是你们能不能？
刚才问我啊，我可以回半点去，无可奉告，我也不高兴。
哎，什么叫中国共产党啊？党叫干啥就干啥。
黑夜即将到来，一定要做好准备。
是。干死共产党！不干死共产党，绝不罢休！
消灭中共是正义的需要。
Hello everyone, welcome back to the show. So I'm Enzo. Today I'll be your substitute host. And we are going to talk about one of the most controversial political topics in the recent United States, which is the 2020 US presidential election. So even the 4 years later, the people are still arguing about what really happened. Some believe the election exposed seriously problems in the systems. Others argue that investigations or the cause has already confirmed that the results. So what's the real truth? Okay, so today we have two of our fellow fighters, Truth Simon and Chris. Please say hi to our audience.
Okay, thank you, Enzo, for introducing me, and I'm happy to be on the show tonight. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Enzo, for the good welcome to our program. New hostess, which is great. And yes, of course, yeah. And we're going to talk about basically all the bad things the CCP have committed in terms of election systems, all that kind of interfere with the procedural justice of rule of law, and all those things. So let's keep going. Good to be in the show again.
Okay.
Thank you. Back to you, Enzo.
Okay, great. So we had a video. We want to also share with our audience that is one of the clip from the war room, and also our fellow fighters Forrest is doing an interview with Stephen Bannon. So let's have the video first.
But hang on 1 second. I just want to make sure. There's two reasons. One, the CCP fears him, but Miles was also absolutely instrumental in making sure people got access to and understood the depth of Hunter Biden's association with the Chinese Communist Party. As President Trump said and everybody said, if this was fully known, and remember, the FBI got the laptop from hell in November of 2019. If Chris Wray and Barr had come forward where you had this material, which in a 10-minute cursory review, because Rudy and Bob O'Connor brought me into this to view it, you realize how deep there, and that was in July of August, I think, of 2020. You realize how deep the Biden family's corruption is with the Chinese Communist Party. And then the intelligence community, the deep state, lied and went to the New York Times and wrote a big letter and said this was all Russian disinformation. We know all that's a lie. It was Miles Guo that was absolutely essential in making sure that got platformed through all of his platforms, and also more details than any Westerner would know. We knew you could look at the documents and read through it as we did and promoted on War Room and other places. It's one of the reasons they came after us, but they really had to take Miles out. So it's not just calling out the CCP. He called out the Biden absolute corruption and sellout to the Chinese Communist Party, of which the deep state then lied about, came out and bald-faced lied about it. And Biden bald-faced lied about it on the debate. And there's absolutely no chance that Biden would have even been able to steal the presidency if that had been fully exposed as it should have been and not thwarted by the deep state's media figures, Forrest.
Absolutely. That's why a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the control of the election in this country. That's CCP. If you look at their control of the media, look at their control of the capital, they always use the media to attack and also help their the Biden election. That's their control. Also, the virus. We think about the virus, how they changed the election back in 2020. That's essential. If we look at all this connected, all those dots together, we know CCP is control the election in this country. Who tell us the control of CCP? Who tell us who exposed their plans, 3F plan, BGY plan in the US? That's Miles, that's NFIC, and you, sir. That's why he's so important. That's why CCP are afraid of you and Miles. That's why he's still at prison, because they want to silence him. But think about it. If they can silence the number one enemy of CCP, nobody is safe in this country. That's why we need to free Miles. We need to protect all the people who's helping this country, who's the truth teller. We need to protect them and work with them, because we know, like we look at Iran right now, who can really change the country? It's the people inside the country who understand the country. New Federal State of China, Miles, and also like General Zhang, General Liu, they understand China. They are the real people fighting for the freedom of Chinese people. They want to completely taking down the Chinese Communist Party. We need to protect those people and to support those people. That will bring the real change to the world. Because taking down the CCP is not only about China, it's about the whole world.
Okay, so back to 2019, we all recall that Miles Guo, our co-founder of the New Federal State of China, he exposed that the Biden's hard disks, right? We all know that this laptop hard disks from the hell, it shows a lot of these scandals, which is we can't imagine in our real life, but it's all the truth. And during the Biden's debate, Trump also mentioned about it. But even though all these things happened, all the scandals, the Chinese virus happened, I think after that, Biden still win this election. So why? Why is it like that? Tell us your thoughts.
Yeah, okay. Although we all support President Trump, but Mr. Miles Guo had already exposed it as early as one day before the 2020 election voting, that the Biden camp would do everything possible to seize and rig the election. And Mr. Bannon also stated during the live broadcast while the votes were being counted that he mentioned that in just a few more hours, the opposing camp would make their move. Everyone who participated in the 2020 whistleblower movement witnessed this stolen election. It happened in the middle of the night, US time, while Americans were sleeping, when the originally leading vote counts were suddenly flipped around 4 a.m. So the success of the 2020 stolen election was the result of several combined factors. A systematic crime. The root source behind it was the CCP, and it was also part of the CCP's unrestricted warfare. The first factor is the sellout American traitors, the Biden family and the deep state. These American identity sellouts, American traitors, who took money from the CCP, took organs harvested by the CCP, and took children provided by the CCP for them to abuse and sacrifice. While selling out America's interest, they also strengthened the CCP. In the executive branch, they formulated policies favorable to the CCP. In the legislative branch, they enacted law favorable to the CCP. And in the judicial branch, they issued ruling favorable to the CCP. The second factor is illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants who are not American. They exploited election loopholes, voting without needing to register their identity or undergo any identity verifications. The third factor is a voting machine, such as Dominion, machines that can modify ballot result using remote control to manipulate and change the voting outcome. The fourth factor is the on-site cheating election ballot workers. In the middle of the night, these ballot workers removed the genuine ballot and replaced them with pre-prepared ballots for Biden, and also counting fake mail-in ballots. The fifth factor is media propaganda. They use the media to create fake news, claiming President Trump's election defeat, diverting attentions from the stolen election, and smearing President Trump's supporter. The 2020 stolen election allowed Americans to clearly see the extreme degree to which the CCP has infiltrated America. The evidence and materials proving the CCP's infiltration of America and the collusion between the sellout American traitors and the CCPs are all preserved. And all this evidence were all preserved on the GTV. And this is exactly why the CCP fears Mr. Mouse Guo. Mr. Mouse Guo's experience growing up in China and climbing his way to the top enabled him to accumulate potential strengths, network, and intelligence. Mr. Mouse Guo understands the fatal flaws of the CCP system and the suffering the CCP has inflicted on the Chinese people and the world. He prepared for 30 years to take down the CCP. Mr. Mouse Guo's secret insider provides top secret intelligence directly from Communist China. If countries outside Communist China can apply this precious intelligence and take corresponding actions against the CCP in advance, every nation can reduce the harm. This is not only about the stolen election, but also the CCP virus and the poison vaccines. With this intelligence and understanding of the CCP's evil, we must take action to eliminate the CCP. Only by taking down the CCP can the world be truly safe. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Yes, recall back to the election date. We all know that is a lot of abnormal things happen. Like suddenly they stop. A lot of states they suddenly stop the counting, right? Counting the votes. Then they resume back the next day morning. So this kind of things is never happened before. And Mexico also exposed that for in our genius research is already banned in US. So he exposed that like you mentioned a lot of counting machines, the systems, the people there they are stealing the votes, right? They're stealing this election. So yes, I will pass the time to the True Seven. Yeah, your thoughts.
No, okay. Thank you, Chris, for your systematic illustration and summary of what really happened. But we all know that we were using GTV, and one of the most important things we see a bird in a cage, and then we also see two lines. One, the line goes up, and the other line cross the line. This is a cumulative counting, Trump versus Biden. Okay, and then suddenly in the midnight, as you guys mentioned, midnight, what happened with the ballot was, fakely stuck into the counting system, and then suddenly, when the voting is already finished, when suddenly one line goes up so high above the birds in the bird's cage. I think I used to use that one as one of my logos for my Twitter as well. So that is giving me so much thoughts and inspiration to. I wonder what happened exactly. So, but the statistics, the accumulation of the counting, that doesn't make sense, because normally you accumulate whatever way, and then suddenly one override that fast. That to me is a fake already. So, but of course, it takes about 4-6 years to prove that's the case. And then I think the fighting still going on between Trump supporters like a MAGA movement, and Mr. Steve K. Bannon have been the leader. And also that we see what happens, and there will be a lot of, I can see, a lot of prosecutions based on whatever fact already gathered by the intelligence. And I remember the FBI have a lot of intelligence as well. You wouldn't be surprised if, apart from Dominion machine that the CCP controls, okay? So I think the ByteDance company in basically Moscow had 49% share of it. But of course, later on, CCP actually forcibly confiscated his asset. And Moscow exposure to us that these machines have back doors, and you can control the counting results. It doesn't matter. This is why President Trump now pursue for Save American First, Save American Act. I mean, that is to make sure in the next election, everyone come here with so you have to have a citizenship certificate to prove you are American citizen before you're allowed to admit to vote. That's very important. So one person, one vote. The only qualified people is American citizens. I mean, even the residents you can. Certainly not the Somalians, okay? But not those used to be those people who Biden during the 4 years have led just fleeing from overseas, from Mexican, from the Mexican jail of other different countries. There were like 20 million. You're joking. 20 million of them. They are all trying to vote next time they're trying to vote for whoever is the liberal, for the Democratic parties against Republicans. We're not interested really about the U.S. politics, but we do interest in how the voting system works, because we need to have that system for the new China without the CCP. So after CCP is gone, are we going to suffer from the same control? We're supposed to be, getting into a much better system according to the declaration of the new Federal Reserve of China. We're going to have absolutely one person, one vote, and it has to be the Chinese citizens. Okay, so I think technologically in China it's easy to do. I just even wonder, why do we need to use the Dominion machine to even count for the whole thing? Why can't we use there's plenty of ways you can double check and make sure you are the U.S. citizen. But the problem is it did happen, and then it was stolen for sure. It is more, to me, it's already over now. I think the present government is going to get that sorted out. I hope that every party is involved in, prosecutors, the judges, okay, and then the FBI's and the DOJ. I hope they're going to work together and then find the truth. At least it will give a great lesson. These things should never happen in a democratic society like the United States, like the future of the new Federal Reserve of China as well. So thank you. Back to you, Enzo, please.
Okay, thank you, Chus. So, yes, but as I mentioned just now, the video that Stephen Bannon also mentioned that 2019 December or November is we already explored this truth from our social media. Why it still takes American to wake up after 4 years? The second Trump's election, after they win, but it's still they never dig up what's the issue. Until now they are still arguing about it, whether it's stolen or is propaganda. So why is it take so long for the American to wake up, to do the action? Like now we still see that the Biden's Joe Biden's son is Hunter Biden, right? He still did some interview to emulate Mel Score and the Stephen Bannon. Why it still happen? Why these people are not punished or are not counted by the rule of law in America? So back to you, your thoughts, Chris.
I think that in the American system, in the in the American system of the justice system, it takes time, and also there are still some infiltrations in the system. But in the end, those who involved in the stolen of the election will be punished. They will be held accountable. It's just that we need some time. I think it will be like after the midterm, because we need more mega
position
people in the right position. Yeah. But in the end, I want to say is that President Trump, he saves America and he saved the world. Mr. Miles Guo saves China and saves the world. In the end, Mr. Miles Guo will definitely win his lawsuits and expose the CCP's infiltration within the Department of Justice. It's just a matter of time, but we still have faith. We know this in the end it will happen, because in 2026 everything happens so fast. So I think we've been waiting for several years. but but in the end, those criminals will be held accountable. Thank you.
Yeah, like you mentioned that now the male score is still in custody and have been refused bail for a few times, right? So I think the only reason is because they are scared about male score, right? That's the only reason. They want to silence him. That's why they don't want males to be released on bail, right? I think that's the only reason I can thought. So back to you, True Seven. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think, in my opinion, that the U.S. court, the DOJ has been infiltrated very heavily by the CCP, okay, and also the cyber security agencies, and it's always also the media, always pump out the mainstream media that, as Miles mentioned, that they, when the media is supposed to be based on the fact, but you find that most of the main media, the influential ones as they used to be, like those few big ones, I mean, they just get influenced by money, in front of U.S. dollars. Seems a few media would be able to reject to receiving big lump sum of money, because those people are working, they got to feed themselves. That's part of human nature. But I think it seems to me that if you're a media person, but I think President Trump has already sued them so much, and they get paid a lot of money because they don't want to keep going. They just want to settle, outside the courtroom. I mean, something like $10 million, $100 million. So you just keep going with the court cases because the truth will prevail. So any judge, when you come down to the fact and truth, I think not every judge is bought. I'm sure there are a few still good judges left, and not all prosecutors, make up the data and so on. Not all juries are also been bought out as well. So I think we've got to trust the U.S. system, and they're going to work out, and then give the taxpayers, U.S. taxpayers, a beautiful, big and beautiful answers. That's what we're watching with. We would love to see that, the whole story comes out to the people. I think President Trump is doing it. So let's looking forward to see. But the most important thing is CCP has no market now, with Americans' policy of using strength, okay, for peace. It would, plus the tariff hammer, and that worked very well. As a people elected the president, we can see now, versus the dictatorship. The outcome is totally differently, where one is based on, believing in God and also believing in working, serving for the people, where others are just basically treating every workers and countrymen as slaves. So they've been enslaving people for that long, including in the Iran, okay, and regime, and Maduro, the Venezuela, and even some other countries. So what we see is a huge, big transformation from the world, and I hope that we humans, we're going to upgrade our level to the next one. So I'm looking forward for that. I think CCP is days are numbered. Thank you. Back to you.
Okay, thanks. Right. So as you mentioned that male score is always the Chinese Communist Party first enemy. We have no doubts about it. And you are right. He's not detected or defamed by the CCP propaganda only, but also the mainstream media in the West, right? So yeah, that's why the whole world, all these are trying to defamed Melspor because what? Because he's telling the truth. That's what they are scared for. Yeah. And as you mentioned that, I remember Melspor said, right, for the America, once they start, no one can stop it, but they will take a very long process. So we can see that right now, especially for this year, right, we can see that from New Year this January until this March, right? So Americans start the few wars with Iran, with Venezuela, right? And now it's Cuba. All these countries are communism countries, and Trump is trying to destroy these countries, right? And to free the peoples there. And he also mentioned a few times openly about the Chinese. I mean the 2020 election is a steal by someone, but he never specified who is the big boss behind. But we all know it's a CCP, it's a Chinese Communism Party. Yeah. So yeah, right, all these things will happen. So once it start, no one will stop it. And we all know the final goal will be the CCP. That's the Americans going to do. Yeah. So okay, I think we are going to end the show. So before we go that, Aaron will have like 2 minutes. Share your thoughts. Yeah, back to Chris. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you. So I think that in 2026, well, the midterm election will have a good result, and because this year everything happens so fast, lots of good things happen in this year. So I think this year will be a great year. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. I think this year will be the year of harvesting. Harvesting what? I mean, just take down the CCP, and which is the root evil of all sufferings in the human race. Okay, they've been here for too long, and 1.4 billion Chinese people are really suffering, and they worked very hard, and all the money, all the hard-earned US dollars, gold, all going to these topocrats' families, where the people now, a huge unemployment rate, and they also trying to get some individual made a little bit of money by working hard and working smart, but now they are also under scrutiny where all the money will be gone. So we say CCP won't last very long, because very soon, as long as the West doesn't support the CCP with money, technology, especially AI technology, I think CCP's number is. As Mao said, that it's already say CCP is out of the Chinese history and the history of the world. So we just, spread the truth, okay, continuously, and we're waiting for Mao Score's comeback. Thank you for watching us. Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Enzo. So we'll see you next time then.
See you.
Yeah.
Take down CCP. Thank you.
Take down CCP.
The night has come this far, not because it chose to leave, but because it was never meant to stand. Darkness may appear powerful, yet it exists only where light has not arrived. And when the first ray of dawn emerges, its retreat becomes inevitable. This is not coincidence, not fortune, but direction itself, finally revealed. Justice never disappears. It moves forward step by step, gathering strength in silence, finding its footing in the final seconds before dawn. Today, what we welcome is not a miracle, but a morning that was always destined to arrive. In the new year, The dawn is already ahead of us.